Close your eyes, dear listener, and let the worries of the day slip away, like leaves drifting down a quiet stream. Tonight we're going to wander through a time long past, to a place where the sun rises over golden stone and the air hums with the soft rhythm of everyday life. Picture yourself in Pompeii, a bustling Roman town nestled beneath the shadow of Mount Vesuvius, where the streets are alive, with the gentle clatter of carts and the murmur of voices. This is a story of a single day, the daily routine of a Roman citizen named Lucius, a baker whose life unfolds in the simple, beautiful patterns of an ancient world. There's no rush here, no urgency, just a slow, soothing journey through a day long forgotten. Let your breath soften, your shoulders relax, and imagine the warm glow of dawn touching your face as we begin. Picture the distant chirping of birds, the faint rustle of leaves in a morning breeze, and let yourself sink into the comfort of this tale, as if you're lying on a soft blanket under the stars. We'll walk together through Lucius's day, step by gentle step, and as we do, you might find your mind drifting, your eyelids growing heavy, and that's perfectly okay. This story is here to guide you toward rest, to cradle you in the quiet beauty of a time long gone. As the first light of dawn creeps over the hills, Lucius stirs in his modest home on the edge of Pompeii's bustling center. His bed is simple, a wooden frame with a straw mattress, softened by a woven blanket dyed a gentle shade of blue. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of olive oil and rosemary from the kitchen nearby. Outside, the world is waking slowly like a flower opening to the sun. You can almost hear the soft cooing of doves perched on the tiled roof, their wings fluttering as they greet the morning. Lucius rises, his bare feet touching the cool mosaic floor, its tiny tiles forming patterns of fish and vines. He stretches, his tunic slightly rumpled from sleep, and steps toward a small clay basin to splash water on his face. The water is crisp, drawn from the town's aqueduct the day before, and it wakes him gently like a whisper of the day ahead. He lights a small oil lamp, its flame casting a warm, flickering glow across the room, painting shadows that dance on the whitewashed walls. There's no hurry in his movements, no rush, just the quiet rhythm of a man beginning his day. He steps into the courtyard, where the air feels fresh, kissed by the morning dew. A soft breeze carries the distant sound of a cart's wheels creaking along the stone street. Lucius kneels by a small shrine in the corner, a niche in the wall holding clay figures of his household gods, the Lares and Penates. He murmurs a quiet prayer, asking for protection and prosperity, his voice blending with the faint chirping of sparrows. It's a ritual as old as Pompeii itself, a moment of connection to the divine, grounding him in the simplicity of his life. Lucius moves to the kitchen, a small room with a stone hearth, where embers from last night's fire still glow faintly. His wife Claudia is already there, her hands kneading dough for the day's bread. The scent of flour and yeast fills the air, mingling with the earthy aroma of dried herbs hanging in bundles from the ceiling. You can imagine the soft crackle of the fire as Claudia adds a few sticks, coaxing it to life. The kitchen is warm, a haven of comfort in the cool morning. Lucius helps by fetching water from a clay amphora. Its surface cool and slightly damp. He pours it into a pot, setting it over the fire to warm. Breakfast is simple but nourishing, a loaf of spelt bread, still warm from Claudia's oven, a handful of olives, and a small wedge of goat cheese. They sit together at a wooden table, the surface worn smooth by years of use, and share their meal in quiet companionship. The bread is crusty, its interior soft and chewy, and the olives burst with a salty tang. Lucius sips watered wine, a common Roman drink, its faint grape flavor soothing and familiar. Outside, the sounds of Pompeii grow louder but never harsh, a distant vendor calling out, the clop of a donkey's hooves, the laughter of children running through the streets. Lucius listens, his heart steady as he prepares for the day. He slips on a pair of leather sandals, their soles worn but sturdy, and ties a belt around his tunic. Claudia hands him a small linen cloth, a sort of napkin, which he tucks into his belt, a habit from years of working with flour and dough. The morning feels alive yet peaceful, as if the world is stretching awake alongside him. With breakfast finished, Lucius steps out into the street, his sandals tapping softly against the cobblestones. The air is warming now, carrying the scent of fresh bread from nearby bakeries and the faint tang of the sea. Just a few miles away, Pompeii is alive with gentle activity, merchants setting up stalls, women carrying baskets of laundry, and children chasing each other through narrow alleys. The streets are narrow, lined with stone buildings, their walls painted with faded frescoes advertising shops or political candidates. You can almost hear the soft hum of voices, blending with the distant bleating of goats being herded to market. Lucius walks slowly, savoring the familiar path to his bakery. He passes a small fountain, its water trickling into a stone basin where a woman fills a jug. The sound is soothing, like a lullaby woven into the fabric of the town. He nods to a neighbor, Gaius, who is sweeping the front of his wine shop, the broom's bristles whispering against the stone. The community is tight-knit, each person a thread in the tapestry of Pompeii's daily life. The bakery is just around the corner, its stone oven already warming the air with the promise of fresh bread. Lucius pauses to greet a stray cat, its fur a dusty gray lounging on a sun-warmed wall. He smiles, tossing it a scrap of bread from his pocket. The cat purrs, a soft rumble that seems to echo the town's quiet contentment. As he walks, the sun climbs higher, casting long shadows that stretch across the street like gentle fingers, guiding him toward his work. Lucius arrives at his bakery, a small shop with a wide stone counter facing the street. The oven, a massive dome of brick, dominates the back of the room, its heat radiating like a warm embrace. The scent of baking bread fills the air, rich and comforting, mingling with the faint smokiness of burning wood. You can imagine the soft crackle of the fire, the rhythmic thud of dough being kneaded, and the occasional clink of a clay jar as Lucius's apprentice, Marcus, prepares the day's ingredients. Lucius sets to work, his hands dusted with flour as he shapes loaves of emmer wheat and barley. The dough is soft, yielding under his fingers, and he works with a steady, almost meditative rhythm. He sprinkles sesame seeds on some loaves, a custom borrowed from Greek bakers, and scores others, with a knife to create patterns that will crust beautifully in the oven. The bakery is a place of creation, where simple ingredients, flour, water, yeast, become sustenance for the town. Customers begin to arrive, their voices soft and familiar. A woman buys a round loaf for her family, her smile warm as she tucks it into her basket. A boy, no older than 10, runs in to purchase a small bun, his coins clutched tightly in his hand. Lucius chats with them, his voice low and kind, asking about their day or sharing a quiet joke. The bakery is more than a shop, it's a gathering place, a heartbeat of the community, where stories and bread are shared in equal measure. As the sun reaches its peak, Lucius takes a moment to rest. The bakery is quiet now, the morning rush over and the air feels warm and still. He sits on a stool by the counter, sipping watered wine and nibbling a piece of bread crust. The street outside hums with life, but it's a gentle hum, like the drone of bees in a garden. You can imagine the distant clatter of a cart, the soft splash of water from a nearby fountain, and the faint laughter of children playing in an alley. Lucius decides to visit the market to replenish his supplies. He locks the bakery, leaving Marcus to tend the oven, and steps into the bustling heart of Pompeii. The market is a tapestry of colors and sounds, stalls piled high with figs, olives and wheels of cheese, their scents mingling with the tang of fresh fish and the sweetness of honey. Vendors call out softly, their voices blending into a soothing chorus. Lucius buys a sack of emmer flour, its weight familiar in his hands, and a small jar of olive oil, its surface gleaming like liquid gold. He pauses by a fruit stall where a woman offers him a ripe pomegranate. He smiles, accepting it, and bites into the juicy seeds, their tartness refreshing in the midday heat. The market is alive, yet never overwhelming. A place where life unfolds at a gentle pace. Lucius feels at home here, surrounded by the rhythm of his town, each step a part of his daily dance. Lucius returns to the bakery, his sack of flour and jar of oil in hand. The oven is still warm, its heat a steady presence, and Marcus has kept the loaves baking perfectly. The afternoon is quieter, a time for steady work rather than the morning's rush. Lucius kneads more dough, his hands moving with practiced ease. The motion almost hypnotic, the soft thud of dough against the table, the faint crackle of the fire, and the distant murmur of the street create a soothing symphony. He experiments with a new recipe, adding a pinch of cumin to a batch of bread, a spice he bought from a trader who spoke of distant lands. The scent is warm and earthy, blending with the familiar aroma of baking bread. Lucius enjoys these moments of creativity, where he can add a touch of his own spirit to the loaves that feed his neighbors. He imagines their smiles as they taste the new flavor, a small gift from his hands to their tables. As the afternoon deepens, the light shifts, slanting through the bakery's window in golden beams. Dust motes dance in the air, catching the sun like tiny stars. Lucius pauses to sweep the floor, the broom's bristles whispering against the stone. It's a simple task, but there's a quiet satisfaction in keeping his space tidy, a reflection of the care he puts into his craft. As the sun begins to set, Lucius closes the bakery. The last loaves sold are given to neighbors who lingered late. The air cools, carrying the scent of wood smoke from homes preparing their evening meals. He walks home, his steps slow and unhurried, the streets of Pompeii now bathed in a soft amber glow. You can imagine the distant toll of a bell from a nearby temple, its sound mellow and soothing, blending with the rustle of leaves in the evening breeze. At home, Claudia has prepared a simple dinner, lentil stew flavored with bay leaves, served with bread from the morning's batch and a plate of roasted vegetables drizzled with olive oil. They eat in the courtyard under the shade of a fig tree, its leaves casting dappled shadows on the stone floor. Their daughter, Livia, joins them, her laughter soft as she recounts a story from her day. The meal is a time of connection, a moment to share the small joys and challenges of life. Lucius leans back, sipping watered wine, his body tired but content. The courtyard is quiet, save for the gentle trickle of the fountain and the occasional chirp of a cricket. The world feels small and safe, wrapped in the warmth of family and home. Lucius tells a story of his own, about a customer who praised his bread, and Claudia smiles, her hand resting lightly on his.